I want to talk about a dream that I had about waiting to stage an intervention. Many of you've been waiting a long time in order to step into purpose, into the things that God has called you to, where you're going to affect change, whether it's affect change in your workplace, affect change in your community, affect change in your state, affect change nationally, or affect change internationally. Many of you have been waiting a long time in order to affect change. In this dream, I was standing and I was staring at a door, and I knew unequivocally that I was waiting for someone to come through that door, who I was to stage an intervention for. And I believe that dream is saying that the time is near in which that which we've been called to do, destiny, purpose, is about to walk through that door. And it's almost time for us to stage this intervention that we've been anticipating and we've been waiting for. And in that dream, there were two poignant points. One was me waiting in anticipation of staging the intervention. And the second piece was when I stood in anticipation, I thought that the others in the room with me had stood also. And I stood and I waited for what seemed like a long time. And then all of a sudden, I became self-aware and I looked around and I realized that even if others had stood initially, they'd all sat back down. And then I sat out of a unspoken pressure, peer pressure. And then I stood again, looking at this door, just staring at this door in anticipation of staging this intervention. And this time I looked out of my peripheral to the left and to the right to see if others had stood with me, and they were all still seated. Know this, as you step into purpose, you're anticipating staging this intervention. There are some who are going to seem as though they're standing with you. They're not. They're going to sit back down as soon as they're given the chance. They are not anticipating this thing the way you are. And then at some point, they're not going to stand at all. So know that you are the one standing for purpose. You are the one standing for destiny. And you are the one who is in anticipation of staging this intervention. And I did look up the word intervention. And the word intervention means, and I'm going to pause this so that I can go back to the definition exactly. Okay, so the definition of intervention, and I wanted to give you this exactly as I saw it when I looked it up. Intervention is the act of interfering with the outcome or course, especially of a condition or process, as to prevent harm or improve functioning. You are going to interfere with the outcome or course to prevent harm or improve functioning. That is what you've been called to do. You've been called to stage an intervention, which is the act of interfering with the outcome or course as to prevent harm or improve functioning. That is your role in the earth. You are standing in anticipation. That thing, that manifestation of destiny and purpose is near to the door, and you are standing in anticipation. But please know, others are not standing with you. You may be standing with others all around you, and every seat around you may be filled, but they are not standing in anticipation. And when given the chance, they will sit. You have been called. You have answered the call. You've been chosen for the purpose, and you are standing in active anticipation so that you may interrupt processes in the earth to improve functioning. And that thing that you are to stage the intervention on, it is almost at your door. It is near. It is actually, if you were to picture a house with a yard, it's in the yard. It's almost at the door. Please continue to stand. Please continue to stare at the door. Please continue to anticipate, because that door is about to open and that purpose is about to come through that door that you are to stage the intervention on, to interrupt processes, and to improve functioning.